Mind back many years ago, not many years ago, when Obaseki became governor of Edo State, according to Vanguard here, and we all saw it, and this was in 2017, Oba Bini historic visit to Obaseki, how the palace for this partnership with the government of Edo State. The Oba left the sanctity of the palace, something that we have, in my living memory, I've never heard that before. He paid a visit to his subject, who is the governor of Edo State. And for many of us, because time changes and life is dynamic, we praise the move. The Oba doesn't visit anybody, and he visited the governor. Things were okay. There was cordiality. This same Oba, when Obaseki won his re-election in 2020, the Oba congratulated Obaseki for his re-election. There was a time when the Oba charged the wicked and all of that they don't want any godfather in Edo State over Obaseki, that they should allow Obaseki to operate. The Oba was playing his role. But when it got to a time when Obaseki began to have whatever issues there are with the palace of the Oba of Benin, this Oba who lavished support on Obaseki, this Oba who lavished support on Obaseki, was the same Oba who turned his back on Obaseki because Obaseki betrayed the procedural observations, the procedural necessity that ought to be between the state and the palace. This same Oba, this same palace. And as a matter of fact, we cannot pretend not to know that Obaseki, played some roles that many describe as, making frantic effort to divide the kingdom. They expunged one, they assumed this thing on the constitution to say one thing, created problem. Before you know what is happening, some chiefs with dissenting voices came out and they started rebelling to the extent that our own Oba was being, for whatever it is, charged to court. And we had a governor seated in Governor Obaseki. Then he come out with, oh no, I'm not involved, I don't know this. But it was a case of the voice of Esau and the hand of Jacob. Tension mounted. And of course, when Obaseki was not elected or selected for the third term through Asue Iwodalo, who did not, show, even in the selectionary process, show that respect that you ought to see as much as possible. I don't want to go into all of those politics, but when they were not elected or selected, as the case may be, it felt like it was a reprieve. And even if Asue had been selected or elected, and he sat there as governor, and he pays respect and shows that he wants to make sure he's loyal to the palace of the Oba of Benin, he wants to ensure that he works with the palace of the Oba of Benin to advance the cause of Edo State, he will receive the same kind of prayers and blessings that Okpebholo is receiving right now. Now, that said, to explain these statements, ancestors brought Okpebholo to restore Edo glory. Believe me, people, to explain it, because I understand it, and it is exactly what Yoruba needed to do. This statement is a statement of responsibility charging Okpebholo to say, man, to whom much is given, much is expected. You have been elected, you have been, assigned by God to bring back the glory of Edo State. It's a charge of responsibility. For those of you who are Christians, well, some of you claim to be Christians, the Bible has even said, and I know where it is, that God is the one who makes kings. He anoints people in government and leaders and all of that. Whether they are selected as people claim, or elected, or appointed, and whatever it is, the Bible believes that if God does not sanction it, it is not going to happen. That's God Almighty. If Omonoba says that you have been sent, and that's a child that Omonoba can, of course, give to any loyal child who assumes the government of Edo State as the governor of Edo State. It has nothing in whatsoever to do with what a lot of people have been describing and making them speak in very despicable manner. Now, I dare say too that if Okpebholo today at some point begins to become what is not supposed to be, I also believe very strongly that this same palace will declare him persona non grata and turn their back against him. Despite this charge. Meanwhile, a few months ago, when Okpebholo was elected, this is what Omonoba told him. Fulfill electoral promises. Oba of Benin tells Okpebholo. This was carried by Punch newspaper as well. He was charged. You have been elected. Fulfill the promises you made to the people of Edo State. Don't fail in that. Don't fail in that. Now, everything that your mom is doing is what it's supposed to do. It is only lack of understanding and deliberate evil and selfishness that will make anybody turn around and begin to speak in very retrogressive manner, so to speak. Omonoba, for those of you who are just making advocacy, trying to water down the power and the potency of the palace, honestly, I would appeal to you people to desist forthwith.